Okay. We got so much we can talk about today. Hopefully we will get some people in here and we will begin the discussions because I am excited to begin with you guys. Welcome in, welcome all. We've got some announcements to make too once we get enough people in here. So that'll be cool. And there's the notification on Discord. That's good. There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy o' Tea. The wind dripped out at about up down, oh blow my buddy boys blow. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. The captain called all hands and fought her when she dived down below. Ba-doom, 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 boom, 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 ba-doom, ba-doom, boom, 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 ba-doom, doom, doom. Look who just got back today. And what our boys that had been away hadn't learned, hadn't much to say. But I still think them cracks is crazy. Come on, people. Participate in the chat. Somebody say something. Let's get this conversation started. It's not like it's on subs only mode or something. Come on, people. Let's get this started. In the fucking chat. Did you see the Hassan Destiny stuff today? No. No, I don't follow either Hassan or Destiny hard enough to see most of their content. So unless it like really blows up across a bunch of different sections of the internet, I'm usually not gonna see it. But I mean, if it was particularly interesting, if there was something that I might be interested in one of their take on, then definitely tell me more about it. Maybe I can look into it. Maybe we can watch while we're sitting here streaming. It was trending on Twitter. See, that's the problem. I have X, but I don't use it as often as I should. Honestly, I need to start treating my social media diet like more professionally, because I don't spend nearly as much time as I should on a lot of these platforms, and some of them I think I could be pretty successful on. Like, I think if I just kept at it with Twitter, I could eventually have something pretty successful and pretty functional. Make sure you guys hit that like button as you're rolling in, by the way. As soon as we get, 20 or 30 people in here or more, we'll start talking about more interesting things. But for now, we're just trying to move forward, I guess you could say. We're trying to get past this awkward 5 minutes. Hassan spoke at College Democrats of America convention and got Destiny banned from entry. Oh? Oh? Okay, well that's crazy. No, I didn't hear about that. That's kind of wild. Let's see. I wish we could open our eyes to see in all directions at the same time. Oh, what a beautiful view if you were never aware of what was around you. I think that must be a song, but it's not a song that I have immediate reference to. Daggett Brown, I'm not reading that. But you did make me laugh. Yo, you guys stop making fun. At least he is putting in work. Keep going, bro. Number one, I'm not a he. Number two, nobody's making fun of me. Like, we don't even have that many people in chat tonight. I don't know if it's something wrong with the stream or if it's probably the title, honestly. I'm probably going to have to end the stream and retitle it because I guess YouTube just doesn't like death in the title, maybe. But I love that the merger deal between the USMC and the IDF was blocked. Me too. Me too. I mean, Israel's already got enough, like, they've got more than enough fucking interconnection with our military and our military-industrial complex. They don't need more. Hello, how are you? I'm good, or at least I would be good if we weren't, like, hung at, like, 20 viewers. Which seems remarkably unusual. Anyway. Brush your teeth, what the fuck? I literally brushed my teeth like an hour ago. Seems like maybe you're one of these people who's used to only seeing teeth in the images of people online and on like movies and TV and stuff. If you actually go out there in the world and start experiencing real life, you realize lots of adults have teeth that are just as discolored as mine, if not worse. Woo! Yo, be careful. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm alright. I'm okay. I don't get why people are being assholes, bro. Holy shit, we have free will. Easy. Because there are some people who get quite a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Gratification? Yeah. There are some people who get a lot of gratification out of the idea that they are making someone else feel bad or that they're making someone else feel uncomfortable or sometimes even that they're just getting noticed, period. That's all it is for some of these people. Like, literally, for a lot of these people, it's nothing even more complicated than that. If I were a right-winger, they would be saying, they would be trolling me from the left, you know? If I were somebody who was, like, if I were a black woman, I would be getting misogynoir, you know? It's just how it is. Like, there are some people who just want to troll. But then there are some people who are, like, super attracted to trans people, but they're not really allowed to express that in their everyday life. And then there are, like, closeted trans people who aren't allowed to express their actual gender identity and are therefore very pissed off at people like me who are. And which form of the projection is happening can often be pretty hard to tell. Do you think anyone thinks you're a woman? Well, clearly plenty of people do, because I'm not usually misgendered. People will misgender me online a lot, but not even really online generally, just more like when I'm doing these live streams. Like in comment sections and chats and stuff like that, it's she, her. But for some reason, you know, probably my voice, whenever I'm streaming, that's when the hateful people that want to make it a big deal come out. Are you in any fandoms? Not really. I'm fans of a bunch of different things, but I wouldn't consider myself part of the fandoms. Like I'm a fan of the Lord of the Rings, but I wouldn't consider myself part of the Lord of the Rings fandom or whatever. I'm a big fan of Legend of Zelda. I wouldn't consider myself part of the fandom. I don't know. Like, I associate the word fandom with the website fandom, and I don't know. I preferred it when it was Wikia, and now that I've got that association in my head, I just, makes me uncomfortable. You're not a woman? What are you? My doctor? You're just some random fuck online. Who the fuck cares about your opinion? Have you seen the Enola Holmes movies? No, I have not. To be fair, I used to hate, but other people's happiness is more important than what I think about it. See, there you go. A human being starting to grow empathy. Look at that. It can happen to the best of us. Odd question, but what color is the number 7? Brown, obviously. Did you see the debate for who will replace Plattner? One of the candidates was a trans woman. Yeah, no, I did not. I'm kind of disenchanted with that, but I do need to look into it because it's relevant. It's good. It's still an opportunity for the Dems to possibly pick up a seat. And in theory, if the Dems have enough seats, they might actually start doing shit, in theory. Now, it is the Democratic Party we're talking about here, so I wouldn't hold my fucking breath. But, in theory, right? And the main thing that I look forward to with these Senate seats that are a possibility, like Lindsey Graham's seat that's going to come up next year for election, I believe, one of the things that I'm kind of looking forward to and keeping in the back of my head is the idea that primaries are going to be happening for all these people. And so far, in a ton of Democratic primaries all over this country, so far, progressives and lefties have been, if not winning, then coming in strong second places, like incredibly strong second places. And in a lot of elections over the last year and a half, they've just won outright. In other words, for every Graham Plattner, there's an Abdul El Sayed or a Zoran Mamdani. So I think the outlook is still good overall. God made bro at 11:59. What does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? Can you imagine if that's your son? You would suck a mile-long dick to be my mother for 5 minutes. You'd give your life to be half the person she is. Don't think I would, but I tell you what, my mom doesn't go around using like fucked up online handles as her, like when my mom goes into an online space, she does it with her actual name. I just think it's an interesting distinction here that even on this basic fucking front, you couldn't match that. Like, even on that most basic of levels, you're not even a real person as far as I'm concerned. You might as well be a bot. My pronouns are she, her, hers. Thank you for asking. Although you don't really have to. Like, I mean, like, your best bet is probably going to be right. Like, I don't exactly look like a person who would use he, him pronouns, I wouldn't think. Of course, I guess there are he, him lesbians out there. Somebody asked, Israel or Palestine? Neither. I want a secular Holy Land. The more I think about this Israel-Palestine issue, the more I realize that the issue is fundamentally one of religious fundamentalism being used to justify the foreign adventurism of billionaire capitalists. Without the myriad religious justifications for the many wars that have occurred in this region over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years, over the last 50 and 100 years, if it were not for these religious justifications, then the billionaire class would have to appeal to the people through politics or some other form of mass manipulation. They would no longer be able to weaponize people's ignorance against them, which is what's happening in the case of Israel-Palestine. Fundamentalist Christians in America and Europe literally believe that in order for the rapture to happen, and therefore the end of the whole world, in order for that to happen, the Jewish people, like whatever that is supposed to mean, like I get that there is a Jewish people, but the idea that they're all going to be coalesced into any one place at any one time just doesn't follow the laws of physics or nature or human civilizations, but whatever. Leaving that aside, they genuinely believe that the Jewish people must all return to the land that they call Israel in order for the rapture to happen and the end of times to follow it. Muslims, on the other hand, believe that the whole of Gaza is an Islamic waqf granted to them, just the same as the Israelis believe about the land north and east of this, and some of them believe it about most of the Middle East, right? They both have religiously justified ancient claims to this land. I don't think either of the claims are valid on the basis of religious justification. You know why I think any of the claims might be valid? Because Jewish people and Arabs, Palestinians, Canaanites, whatever you want to fucking call the various many different peoples who have lived in that region over the last 3,000 years, have lived together perpetually for all of their fucking existence. For as much as we can tell, insofar as we can tell, these people have always cohabited. So I think there's an argument to be made that yes, maybe Jewish people should have some kind of ability to return broadly to that area of the Middle East. But they can never be allowed or propagated to do so on the basis of violence and death and genocide. And I think that Arab people have an equal claim to the same fucking land. I don't think any ethnicity or religious identity gets to have sole and complete ownership over any land. Because that just seems anti-human. How are you going to enforce that? How are you going to make that happen? Name for me a way you can make that happen that doesn't involve genocide, death, deportation, and other crimes against humanity. You can't. So I want a secular Holy Land. It can still be the Holy Land. People can still worship there. People can still do the thing. But no, like the Third Temple, it's not happening. No, sorry. Like that's just too destructive. You want to do something that is going to initiate a holy war. Sorry, we can't let you do it. That also means that you might not get to build mosques in certain places, you know? Like you can't tear down the fucking Holy Sepulchre and put up a mosque there instead. Why the fuck is this motherfucker spamming? Do I just have like no mods tonight? Anyway. I guess I'm gonna have to turn on subs only mode. Let's see here. There we go. That should make things legible in here. Why do you feel like a she instead of a he? Genuinely asking. Like, why? I feel like what... I don't know if this is a question that is as easy to answer as you think it is going to be. I guess the why that you're looking for would probably just be, like, because I do. Like, there are things that, I guess, lead to that being reinforced or being more obvious, like the fact that I don't socialize as well with cis men, the fact that I don't relate really to cis men. I like every so often I will relate to a cis man on a given thing, but I don't feel like I relate to their experiences culturally on like a gender level, whereas I've always felt like I could relate more to girls and women. Like there's the perpetual feeling I've had ever since I was a little kid that I was like not in the right body, that there were fundamental mismatches between what I knew myself to be and what I saw in everyone else and what I saw in the other little girls that I was around. But ultimately you might be asking like how, like why is and like what's the mechanism behind it, and we don't fully understand that yet. One thing we do know is that trans women tend to have brains that are wired and structurally like more similar to cisgender women's brains than they are to cisgender men's brains. And similarly, transgender men tend to have brains that are structured similarly to cisgender men rather than cisgender women, which does point to there being some biological correlative factors. There's other things that they found that kind of indicate this as well. We also know that there's like an element of psychology and like individual raising, but we don't know exactly how much that plays a part, because it could very well be that whatever we think is psychological about it could just be that, or not psychological, but whatever we think is like socially enforced about it could just be a reaction to people, or it could be like how we are codifying the reaction that is choosing not to come out, right? Like if you, like, so for example, even if we were to find some data that suggested that society's like preferences towards trans people affects the amount of trans people that there are in a society, that could just as easily point towards people being less willing to come out in a society that is anti-trans. We're getting so in the weeds here. Let me read the super chat. Please continue expressing that IP take. It's so true and people need to hear it more. Yeah, no problem, Paradox Frequency. I'm gonna keep expressing it because frankly, the more I think about this issue, the more I think like nuance is getting missed in it. And like a lot of people are angry about it and talking about what we need to stop doing, but not a lot of people are talking about how the problem actually needs to be fixed. And that's another thing just generally that I'm going to try and fix it myself. Because whatever, I get it. Some people are better at complaining than they are pointing out the solutions, but I at least want to be one of those people that when people say, oh yeah, what's your solution? I want to have one for them. You know? There's honestly a good reason why I see a lot of people say because I don't feel like the gender I was assigned at birth, and they don't answer as to why they want to be trans. I mean, it's just like, I don't relate to the gender I was assigned at birth, but also I actively do relate to the gender that people who were assigned the opposite sex at birth are usually assigned, you know? So like, not only do I not relate to the experience of being a man, but I've always felt like I could relate to the experience of being a girl or the experience of being a woman. Not on every level, of course. Many women have to experience periods. Some women will experience childbirth throughout their lives. I will never experience either of those things. But like, that is not the entirety of a woman's experience. And frankly, I always feel like whenever people try to reduce the feminine experience merely to giving birth or having a period or something like that, it always just feels a little bit misogynistic to me. In fact, it feels super misogynistic and very paternalistic. Like, what are you saying? Like, women are only good for getting fucked and having kids? Sounds pretty depraved to me. You call me the moral degenerate, but here you are. Okay, but women don't even like each other. They're always in competition. That's just not even true. That's not just like not even true. Yeah, like, are there some like mean girls type bitches that are like that? Sure. And like, yeah, like there are always going to be some women that any given woman hates. Like, sure, right? Obviously. That's true of men too, by the way. But like, just generally the idea that women hate each other, I don't know, hasn't been my experience. Not just talking about how, like, my own friendships with other women, but I'm also talking about, like, the friendships that I have witnessed between them, you know? Have there been some, like, competitive ones? Sure. And I feel like there's always, honestly, a little bit of competition between friends of all types, on all genders. The exception doesn't make the rule. I feel like the idea that there is a rule here is the fucked up idea that, like, you need to provide some backing for that, or just admit that you're wrong. What do you have to say about Charlie Kirk? It's been a while since I've been asked, but I'll give you the basic rundown I gave everybody else for the first 6 months after he died. I think Charlie Kirk was a backwards, bigoted moron who nevertheless did not deserve to be shot dead like a dog on the street. I think that he said a lot of awful things that deserve to be brought to the light, and I think that people who were acting like he was some, you know, innocent little nobody that was just out there having conversations needs to get real with themselves and recognize that while it's true he did not deserve to be shot, and assassination is never a good thing, murder is never a good thing, you also have to recognize that he was a political actor. He was a person who put himself in the position of public life, not just to get his opinion out there and maybe make a little money on the side or something, but to actively influence political outcomes, to actively influence the way other people's lives would be run in a negative way. I don't think that makes his assassination right. I don't think that validates it in any way, but a lot of people are trying to liken Charlie Kirk to some Christ-like martyr. But I got news for you. Jesus Christ never questioned the legitimacy of black pilots. Jesus Christ never implied that black people are the source of all crime and criminality. Both of these are things that Charlie Kirk has said. Hi, I'm Arrow Ace. A quick question. How did I come out to my family? I came out to some friends. Honestly, I wouldn't worry about coming out to your friends, coming out to your family with something like that, because it's probably just not something they're gonna like fully be able to understand. But I don't think they're gonna hate you for it. Is the thing. I think if you're gonna do it, just do it. You know, like do it like you did for your friends, but boomer mode. I don't know. Like, they're probably not even going to get what you're trying to tell them, because, like, even a lot of people my age don't know what Arrow and Ace mean, but, you know. You could even, like, dumb it down a little. You could be like, you know, I just want to let you guys know I don't really have any interest in dating. Or, like, sex. And I don't know, like, if you, like, sit them down to have a conversation like you might if you were coming out as trans or gay or something like that, it might just be awkward, you know? They might just be like, okay, is that all? So, I don't know why emoji spammers think they're gonna, like, get away with it here. Very dumb. Phoebe gonna date a fascist on the down low? I really don't know of that many fascist women. I'm not gonna lie. And I can't imagine a fascist man fascinating and sexually appealing enough to me to get over my typical preference for women. How do you square the idea of identifying as a woman while believing anyone can be a woman? How does that mesh with what a woman is, comes from societal norms? I know there are good answers to this. So, let's see. How do you square the idea of identifying as a woman while believing anyone can be a woman? I don't think that that's an idea that needs to be squared. I think those are, like, intrinsically compatible ideas. I think one follows from the other. But, two, when it comes to transgender people, like myself and many others, it's not necessarily, like, the argument is not, like, that anyone, like, literally anyone at any time can, like, just automatically be trans because they, like, declare themselves such. Like, being trans is a complex, it's a complex of things, and like, you can have multiple of them, or all of them, or only just a couple. And the idea is that anyone of any, like, race or, as far as we can tell, any age, there's just a certain age below which it's basically impossible to tell. The idea is anyone can, in theory, be trans. And I don't know if I'm answering this as well as you were hoping I was going to, but I'm trying my best, okay? The idea is that anyone can, in theory, be trans, but that not everyone is going to be. Around 99% of people are completely cisgender, and that one of the most important diagnostic steps to finding out if a patient is trans is their own self-identification. From there, you then dig into that deeper. What does that mean for them? How does that affect the way they want to dress? How does that affect the way they want to be seen by other people? How has it affected them throughout the other periods of their life and throughout their childhood and stuff like that? And then there are other aspects to one's identity that are drilled into as you get deeper and deeper into your care journey, basically. Aspects of like, how does gender dysphoria like worsen your life? How does it make things harder for you? When you feel gender euphoria, what does that come from? What does that mean to you, and how is it expressed? And it's through like a host of these different identifiers and signifiers and stuff that a doctor and a patient come to the conclusion that that person is trans, or that a person comes to the conclusion that they themselves are trans. I think that a person can realize they are trans without medical intervention. Now, do I think that people can sometimes have like the wrong categorization in mind at first? Of course, you know. Like when I first came out, I came out as non-binary. But in my mind, on some level, I kind of always knew eventually I will be coming out as a binary trans woman. You know, and that is not true for everybody, but it is true of a lot of different people. They go through like a stage, or I guess you could say a transitionary stage. No, but seriously, people will go through some different kind of like labels before they land on what actually describes their experience. Sometimes that will be pretty simple. In fact, most cases it's pretty simple. In some cases it'll be a little bit more complicated. But all of this stuff is incredibly interesting. And it's shit that psychology is studying constantly. Okay, so Alessandro, you say that biological sex needs to be taken into consideration when it comes to bathrooms. Why? Why? No, it is not a vape. Honestly, it'd be kind of nice if it was a certain kind of vape, but it's not a vape. Man, I'm so surprised I didn't stash myself more cannabis somewhere. I did myself a big favor by stashing some away, but I've already ran through that, so now I'm just down to like the, you know, the resin. Anyway. All places should have single person and family size bathrooms, no gender. Yes, 100%. I fucking 1000% agree. Every place should have at least one bathroom that is like unisex and has like a little changing area in it. And like honestly, a lot of fucking businesses are already able to implement this. Like literally all they have to do is change out the signage to their bathroom. Because like tons of businesses, little restaurants, cafes, diners, pot shops, a lot of these businesses have single person bathrooms. They could already be made unisex. There's no reason why one bathroom has to have like special equipment and the other doesn't. By the way, thank you, Paradox, for the $20. I appreciate that. I don't know if I said that earlier, but I do appreciate it. And the thorough question. I hope I answered it halfway okay. I'm pretty stoned and kind of tired, so... I guess the question is how much of what it means to be a woman is just purely societal norms? How do you differentiate between biological feelings of being a woman versus superficial societal norms? I mean... I don't think that I, as like a human being armed only with my understanding of my own feelings and my own body and science, I don't think that I'm capable of making that distinction. That's one of the reasons why it's so important to have healthcare available for trans people, so that we can be assisted by doctors in the process of our care. Because, like, good question, how do we? Well, to tell you the truth, society forms a ton about our everyday goings-on, and you could honestly make the argument that even cisgender women and like what we consider, in fact, like when it comes to like gendered behaviors and aesthetics and stuff like that, it's all cultural, it's all social. There's nothing biological about that as far as we can tell. Like nothing. If there was something biological about it, then you would see like tendencies in common with like 99% of women, and you just don't, you know, when it comes to aesthetics and lifestyles and behaviors and things like this, right? But when it comes to what a society considers like the standard or the exemplar, that is always culturally determined. It's always a matter of what that given region in that given area of time cares about seeing on a woman, or cares about seeing her do. As far as like the feelings that go on in a person when it comes to like how they relate to these different things and the impulses they feel, and how much you know, like we don't really understand fully, right? We have some inklings, but we don't really understand fully the relationship between people's biology and the way they feel, just broadly, not just about gender, but just like in general. We know that thoughts are the result of an electrochemical process inside the brain. We know that, but we can't like exactly tell you what exact chain of chemical reactions causes. Like, we can't tell you, like, what exact pathway and fucking chain of reactions and everything else causes a text that you read on the screen of your phone to be translated first into an image and then into information, and, like, correlate that with, like, we don't understand every fucking step of this process. We know it is a biological process, but we don't necessarily know every fucking nuance to it. And the same is true of gender. We know that they are related things. We also know that gender and sex are distinct, but the degree to which they are correlated or not correlated, the degree to which any given behavior may be influenced by biology versus culture, that is pretty hard to fucking tell. And like I said, not just with gender, it's with a ton of things. Thank you for the thorough answer. Of course. I always love it when somebody asks me a question on one of these topics that can actually be dived into further. Because a lot of transphobes, all they have is like, you're not a woman, and it's like, motherfucker, if I were to find out somehow that I'm not in fact trans, I guarantee you, you're not going to be the one to tell me. But with somebody like you, you're actually providing me something that I can dig into further and maybe explain a bit of the trans experience to people who wouldn't otherwise have much of an access to a discussion like this. So I appreciate it. So you said to tell him that I'm not interested in dating and sex, but I'm not in middle school and my parents don't want me to knowing what sex is, so I don't know what to do. Help. So what you need to do is just wait around, because eventually, here very, very, very soon, if you're in middle school, number one, if you're in middle school, you shouldn't be chatting in here. This is an 18 plus stream, but I will answer your question. You're probably going to get banned though, just letting you know. I will answer the question because it's a good question. I think you should just wait, because here soon your parents are going to give you the talk. And after explaining all that, you will get an opportunity to say, thanks to the internet, I kind of already knew about a lot of this stuff. But luckily for you guys, I'm not interested in any of that. And then you can explain the terms. What's your religious stance? I am an atheist. Like most rational people over the age of 12. I'm just kidding. And I'm being a little mean, but seriously, I am getting a little bit sick. In fact, I'm getting majorly fucking tired of the influence that religion wields over my society and other societies. Have you ever been hit on by a transphobe that was secretly a chaser? Yes. Yep. And have I ever been hit on by a chaser that was like secretly a transphobe in some other part of their life? Yes. As it turns out, both of those dichotomies exist. Yeah. Well, that's why I say so many people that hate on me are people that are attracted on some level to trans bodies, but they don't want to admit that openly. They don't want to acknowledge that because it's some deleterious thing for their social situation or something. So the only way they can interact with me and get attention out of me is by being negative. I respect people as a whole. A garden is boring if it's just one kind of flower. I love that. I love that stoner philosophy. Dude, that is my favorite piece of stoner philosophy. Fucking hippie philosophy right there. I love it. I'm too autistic to flirt. My niceness comes off as flirting without meaning to, and my social awkwardness doesn't allow me to flirt when I do want to. I feel that. I really do feel that. I don't think anyone knows how to flirt. I'll be real with you. I think some people maybe do. Like, some people are just, like, able to pick that up and implement it perfectly, but I think a lot of us are just winging it. Oh my god, Leon is not. Shut the fuck up. I am not going to read your fucking proselytizing comment. I do not care to be converted. I do not care to be preached at. You have no evidence for your God. You have no argument for your God's existence. This is an attempt to proselytize. This is an attempt to preach. And I won't have it. Geez, you know what? Thomas Jefferson would fucking love my ass, at least insofar as my criticisms of Christianity. What I just said could have practically been written into a Jefferson letter. I do not desire to be preached at, nor proselytized to. I care not for your honeyed words. Well, why would Arrow Ace people need to flirt anyway? By the way, you said you were in middle school, so, like, bruh. Ain't no way. It's an 18 plus stream. Bah. Okay, so I guess this is coming a bit late, but since we never really did peak that high, I guess I'll go ahead and tell you guys now. I'm going to have Paul Zigo on the stream either Wednesday or Thursday. We're gonna get into DMs and shit and hash out the finer details, and once I have them, you guys will have them. But for now, know that there will be a Paul Zigo versus Phoebe argument, chill stream. I don't know what exactly it'll be. I think it'll be pretty fun though. It's going to be contentious because there's a few things I think we can definitely disagree with off the top, and if I need to intersperse some articles, or if something interesting happens while we're live or something like that, then we will we'll cover that. It's going to be an interesting and dynamic show though, I know that. So be ready. Woot woot, fun. I know, yes, it will be very fun. I love arguing with Paul Zigo. Hell yeah, I'm so fucking excited. Oh my god. I can't wait to get the details hashed out. I need to start working on a thumbnail tomorrow night. I'm gonna be pretty busy most of the day tomorrow, like day, I'm pretty sure. But tomorrow night, I will be free. And I can make a thumbnail. A really good looking thumbnail. Oh. Are you keeping topic secret until the stream? I don't think that's part of the agreed upon plan or anything. No. I guess, you know, it's my show. I can do what I want. So, no, I'll talk about it. I want to hype it. So we're going to be, one of the things we're going to be talking about is my hot take. The fuck? One of the things we're going to be talking about is my hot take that, sorry, I just got distracted. Anyway, one of the things we're going to be talking about is my hot take that eventually it will become time for our wonderful secular society of the future to start appropriating mega churches and old church buildings alike and turning them into performance venues and museums and stuff like that. Because I think at a certain point, these churches will cease to be seen, perhaps even by the few remaining faithful, as testaments to the glory of God, and will more and more be seen as testaments to the glory of excess. I think they already are testaments to the glory of excess. They are edifices that stand as a testament, not to the glory of God, because there is no such thing, but to the glory of the clergy, to the glory of the fucking rich people. And I think that a righteous, well-motivated, secular society would be morally and ethically justified in appropriating church properties, big and small, and turning them into projects for the people's good. Whether that means like museums and contemplation spaces and stuff like that. Maybe it still remains kind of a church if you're talking about a really, really old church with like pews that are like particularly unique to that church or something. Then maybe it remains as a universalist kind of non-denominational, just go in there, whatever religion you are, and here's a place you are allowed to worship. Maybe that's what should happen to some of them. But for most of them, like these big mega churches all over the Midwest and the South, these things could be turned into community centers. And they'd be better used as community centers. Agreed. If a church runs like a business, it needs to be taxed like a business. See, that's the thing. My take takes that the next extra logical step, which is at some point these churches just gotta go. Like, I don't think that the answer is ever going to be violence and trying to like teach people not to be religious and shit. Not directly anyway. I don't think like you have to like brainwash people or whatever. But eventually, like through the steady adoption of technology and the rigid application of our minds towards creatively solving problems, eventually we will get to the point where America is way more secular than anything else, where the average American is an atheist. And when we get to that point, it's going to start to seem pretty fucking crazy that we still got all these mega churches lying around. Many of them at that point will have been abandoned, but they are, like, I guarantee you, this is one of the reasons why I want to popularize this take now, is because as religion starts to fall by the wayside and provide less and less useful answers, a lot of these fucking churches are just gonna, like, fucking go away, basically, and fall apart. And that will happen even with churches that don't necessarily, like, go through the secularization of a society, even a super religious society. If it's, like, if a church doesn't operate under specific kind of guide rails and doesn't manage to keep enough people in its congregation, then a church can die out in a couple generations. There are all kinds of church buildings all over this country already that sit abandoned and unused, unsold to anyone, because they're just not really like that useful for that much, except as museums and performance venues, and in some cases housing. But, you know, like, there's only so many places it makes sense to set up a performance venue, and sometimes the you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes the zoning restrictions will be different for a church than it will be for a venue and shit like that. There are sometimes restrictions that come with a church property where it has to be used as a church, and there's a big long process to get it switched out of it. So I think it's already something that cities and governments should be doing already. I think the average American is already an atheist, they just don't know it. Yeah, no, I actually agree with you. I think that when you really drill down into it with a lot of religious people, it's not faith you find at the bottom of their hearts. It's fear of death. It's fear of death or fear of permanent loss of their loved ones. You know, like, they don't want to grapple with the idea that they might not be around at some point anymore, and that they might not ever get another chance to interact with their loved ones. But you ask them, does God have a plan? Doesn't seem to. You think God's intervened in your life? Not as far as I can tell. They're fucking deists, if anything. They're deists with a belief in heaven when they have to think about their grandmother. And I can empathize with them on that, I guess, but it's still ultimately an unfounded belief. Hey, Matt. I was hoping you'd come around. I will play you some music tonight if you want me to. That may be true for evangelicism, but what about the steady increase in religious activity among Catholicism and Orthodoxy? I don't know if these things are actually becoming more popular or if they're just becoming more loud. See, everybody thought that, fundamentalism and, evangelical, the evangelical movement was getting bigger too for a while. Like, a couple years back, I remember hearing the same kind of thing about them. Maybe 5-6 years ago. Maybe even longer now. But that eventually fell by the wayside, and now you've started to see them become way and way more pushed to the fringe and way less popular and way less present throughout the culture. And I think that the same thing will happen to the Catholics and the Orthodox. I just think it's going to take them a little while for the current fervor to settle on down. I think, honestly, credit to the, fair folks of Orthodoxy and Catholicism. I think that they might have a little bit more faith than the average Pentecostal or, the average Protestant. I think they might have a little bit more actual faith than those people. I think they also tend to think about their faith a little more deeply than the average I keep saying Pentecostal. The average Protestant does. But I think that ultimately this is just a result of their religious identity and like this kind of uptick in Catholic and Orthodox activity. I think tends to coincide with times of global turmoil. Yes, please, like and donate. Thank you, Matt. Damn it. Didn't want to have to do this, but I'm going to have to do this. Oh shit. That cleared the clog up pretty quick. Haha. Perfecto. I like your idea though, Phoebes. It reminds me of Carlin's idea with the golf courses. Let's make both those things happen. I agree, right? I'd have to agree from what I've studied on them. World religions are my weird fascination, though I don't agree with most. Yeah, no, me too. I'm fascinated by the religious impulse in humanity, but yeah, I don't agree with any of them. I think to agree with a religion is basically to relinquish control of your mind, I suppose, one could say. It is to relinquish control of your mind to a bunch of disinterested, ghoulish old men. Who do not have your best interest in mind. Alrighty. Oh, come on, don't smoke the resin, that's nasty. What am I supposed to do? Well, you really want sober Phoebes? That's like the worst version of me. I feel like that's a very addict thing to say, now that I think about it. It's like definitely something a cokehead would say. Make a Peterson mold song. Oh my god, this is gonna be so hard. Fuck. Jordan Peterson, he was such a smart man until he found a home with mold and started taking Zans. Jordan Peterson, he was such a smart man until he found a home with mold and started taking Zans. Okay, I did it. I didn't say it was going to be a long song, okay? I did the Jordan Peterson song. I guess I could make it longer, but do I need to? maybe I could. Jordan Peterson, he was such a smart man until he found a home with mold and started taking Xans. Now he just spends all days spewing right-wing lies. Ooh. Holy shit. I'm not that good. I have to like take breaks, right? I have to build it out in my head. Alrighty, I've got it. Jordan Peterson, he was such a smart man until he found a home with mold and started taking Xans. Now he just spends all day spewing racist lies. His words are laced with maggots and his house is full of flies. Is Peterson racist? I thought he was just like transphobic. No, dude, I'm telling you, Matt, since he fucking went down this hard right path, since he started taking Xans and moved into a house with mold, he's gone batshit insane. It's not just the transphobic shit that he's been spewing. But yes, just to let you guys know, I've got a project that I actually feel pretty good about, and if Matt can keep me motivated on it, then I think it might come out. I'm going to do a video essay called Jordan Peterson Used to Be Smart. WTF Happened? And let me just show you guys something. This blew my fucking mind. I'm not even kidding you. Cash App don't know? Aww. Song maybe? I haven't heard you in a while. Well, thank you for the $5. Yeah, I'll definitely play you guys a real song here in a minute. But I do want to show you guys this as just kind of a teaser clip, if you'll allow me the indulgence. The moon. See, that doesn't work as a line because, well, maybe it works as part of a line. I'd have to try it out. Let me just find this.
Buddha's father is visited by an angel who tells him that his son is going to grow up to be the greatest temporal, profane ruler the world has ever seen, or a great spiritual leader. And his father, being a pragmatic and conservative man, decides that there's no possible way I'm going to allow my son to take the ambivalent road of spiritual enlightenment. I'm going to allow him to fall completely in love with the world so that he will remain attached to his domain. So, prior to Buddha's birth, his father constructs a great city with walls around it. And inside that city, he removes all signs of pain, frustration, and disappointment, any sign of ugliness, and age, the only people...
Are you starting to see the difference? Because I noticed the difference right away. He's quick, he's getting to the point, he's not crying, and just to show you what he looks like, I think this was from the 90s maybe? Just to show you what this looks like, I'll play a little bit of it.
That are allowed to exist within this city are those who are in perfect mental and physical health, who are paragons of beauty and virtue. And the idea that lurks behind that archetypal story is that when a father has a child, his moral obligation...
Such dark black hair, I know, dude. He actually used to be kind of hot. And he...
consciousness of that child from contact with any of the horrors of life that could provide the child with an experience.
And the thing that caught me was that I've never found myself captivated by Jordan Peterson before, but watching this video, I did. And maybe that's just because it's a topic that's relatively ambiguous, right? But there is a point to this chunk of the lecture. And I think it actually makes an interesting point that I was able to chew on for a while. And I thought that is so, it's such a stark difference from when you see him in debates in the last 5 or 10 years, or when you see him lecturing even from the last 5 or 10 years. He seems a lot more stilted now, a lot more like self-referential, a lot more, a fucking hell of a lot more self-important, less concerned with the subject matter. He spends a lot more time talking about what he's going to talk about than actually talking about the subject. He seems like meandering in a way, you know, in like more recent work. And then I listen to this and it's just like
traumatic for that developing consciousness to apprehend. So because it's an archetypal story, it relates to the development of all people, not just the redemptive savior. And that's the motif that the Buddhist story initially follows. A good father makes his child fall in love with life by enticing that child into a direct relationship with all that life has to offer. So Buddha grows up within this walled garden, this unself-conscious paradise. But precisely because he's been...
So I'll basically give you guys the synopsis of what, because he goes for about 10 minutes in this. I'm not going to show you guys the whole thing, but the synopsis is basically he uses the story of Buddha as a relative model, I guess you could say, to explain kind of what human beings go through childhood and what growing up is like, what kind of psychological changes a person goes through. He doesn't make any arguments about the nature of that story necessarily being one that was meant to explain this or anything like that. He just talks about how looking at it through a modern psychologist's lens, you can take that story and use it to explain the different stages of growing up and coming to terms with the world at large. Yeah, I definitely believe it. I mean, look at J.K. Rowling spelling might be off. Yeah. Yeah, the thing, and I'm going to go ahead and play some music for you guys. We're going to move on, I guess. But yeah, the thing I want to cover in my Jordan Peterson video is basically, like, was this guy always nutty? Because I don't think he was. I'm going to listen to a few of his full lectures from the 90s, from before the benzos, from before the mold, and I'm going to see, did this guy used to have a point? Because if you look at Jordan Peterson's early career, by all fucking accounts, by all metrics, he was an expert in his field at one time. Which just makes this right-wing shift, it makes it suspect, and it also makes it suspect in a different direction. because I've assumed all this time, oh, he's just a grifter. He knows better, and he's using the fact that he's a prominent psychologist that's already been on a number of tours and a number of lecture circuits all over the fucking world and shit. He's using this prestige to get even more, right? But I don't know if that's necessarily true. The more I've thought about it, at least I don't know if it explains it completely, because he was a successful psychologist already, way before, like, the whole reason why it made one difference whatsoever was because he was kind of a well-known guy already, you know? Like, 12 Rules for Life, it was not like it was, like the biggest book in the fucking world before that interview, but it was released before that interview that got him real big and real famous. And it wasn't that much before it, so, like, there's some connection there, but I just feel like he didn't really need to do that to be wealthy. He could have done it to be wealthy, but he didn't need to. And if wealth was his only goal, he could have pursued that in a number of different ways. In fact, he could have gone the opposite direction. He could have gone to the left and started loudly making calls for people to accept trans people. Like, he could have come out on either side. That's how these culture wars work, man. You can come out on either side of them. And if you've got snappy positions that you're willing to defend well or often, like, he didn't have to go right wing to get that. Now, maybe he just saw that as the ultimate, utilitarian option, but that's what we're going to be exploring. And I've enlisted Matt as my research aide. I mean, he sounds left-wing. Yes, exactly. He sounds like a left-winger when he talks. And, like, when he's lecturing back in the 90s and the early 2000s, Jordan Peterson sounds like a left-wing guy. His book got incels to clean their room. Yeah, well, I don't think Peterson is an altogether negative guy. I just think that people have awarded him way too much significance in their life because of things like that. Personally, I didn't need some fucking weirdo doctrinaire to tell me to clean my room. For me, it was my older sister helping me clean my room after it got really bad when I was like 14. And I just got disgusted with myself, and it put me into this awful depression I just couldn't get out of because I was so disgusted. But then when she helped me clean it and got it all better, I made like a vow to myself after that point. I was like, never again. Ever, ever, ever. And since then, I have been like fucking obsessive about my room. I'm one of the few people in America who makes her bed every morning. I fucking make my bed. How do I time out a mod? You can. I'm sorry, Taylor. You and Matt are gonna have to squash this feud, because I like you guys both. And Matt's my research assistant. Well, I don't, I mean, we haven't talked about it, but, he's taken on that role for some reason, so. Oh. Damn, I should have fucking trimmed my nails. I really should have trimmed my nails. I've been putting mold in his food for years. I don't know. Tongue. What's going on? Okay. Well, this is just a simple song to say what you've done. You told me about all those fears and the way they did run. You sure must be strong. You feel like the ocean warmed by the sun. When I was just 9 years old, simple song to say what you've done. You told me about all those fears and the way they did run. You sure must be strong. You feel like the ocean worn by the sun. Remember walking around to your house alone in the dark. I made a formula play for your heart and the extra star. You wore a charm in the chain that I stole, special for you. Love's such a delicate thing that we do with nothing to prove, which I never knew. Simple song, The Shins. I haven't played that in forever, so, you know. Sorry to me for sucking. Baby sound good. Someone give her a dono. Aw, Taylor, you're so sweet. Thank you. Covered in cans of film, filtered water and pictures of you. And I'm not coming out until this is all over. And I'm looking through the glass where the light bends at the cracks. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, pretending that the echoes belong to someone. Someone that I used to know. And will become. Silhouettes of the bodies finally go. Oh, walk through the empty streets, feel something solid underneath my feet. But all the alien reports recommended that we stay indoors, because the air outside will make our skin divided at alarming rate. And the boils that'll form will fill with buzz until the skin cracks and they explode. And it won't be a pretty sight. We'll become silhouettes of the bodies finally go. We'll become silhouettes of the bodies finally go. I love that one too. It's a really good song. It's a really good song. Really, just truly a good song. Truly. You gotta manipulate those resin balls. You gotta make them do what you want. Oh? Oh, nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy o' Tea. La cucaracha ya no puede caminar porque no tiene, porque le falta marihuana que fumar. La cucaracha ya no puede caminar porque no tiene, porque le falta marihuana que fumar. Except what's in front of you. Life's complicated even under your nose. Bullshit math equations in your eyes and your lows. And your bipolar illness, it comes and it goes. Your parasympathetic nervous system reacts, and you're in fight or flight mode. I'm forgetting the lyrics. People 2, The Reckoning lyrics. There we go. How's the world so small when the world is so large? And what made the world? Could I please speak to who's in charge? Everything is real, but it's also just as birthday party to your grandmother's wake, and your manic depression, it comes and it goes. Your parasympathetic nervous system reacts, and you're in fight or flight. You're in fight or flight. You're in fight or flight mode. I've tried to know which words to sing so many times, and I've tried to know which chord to play, and I've tried to make it rhyme, and I've tried to find the key that all good songs are in, and I've tried to find the notes to make that great resounding din. But there's a bad man in everyone, no matter who we are. There's a rapist and a Nazi hiding in your tiny heart. Child abusers and cannibals and politicians too. There's someone in your head waiting to fucking strangle you. So here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. In fucking fact, in fucking fact, Mrs. Robinson, the world will care whether you live or die. You live or die. In fucking fact, Mrs. Robinson, they probably hate to see your stupid face. Your stupid face. So here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. You live in an unfortunate place. I won the battle but lost the war. That's how it goes, Matt. That's how it goes sometimes. Yeah. Ooh, that took a lot out of me. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Oh, I don't know if I can do any more tonight. Oh, that took a lot out of me. Oh, boy. Hi. Oh, my God. Do you hear my voice now? So I'm a researcher, huh? Am I going to dig into Pearson's clean past and dirty future? If you don't mind, I mean, you seem to have a mind for that kind of work, so yeah. Yeah, if it turns out to be a profitable arrangement, then I'd be happy to start paying you a certain commission out of what we make on any video essays where you're the researcher. Because, I do think that, like, Gemini and stuff like this can be effective research tools, but, you know, I know them well enough to know they're not that useful, and I think there's still a lot of value in a human researcher. No, your dirty money. You can't buy me, Phoebe. You're the most resistant motherfucker I've ever met to getting paid for the fucking shit you do. But yeah, I'll try. Cool. That's what's important. When I tell you guys I've tried to pay this dude like fucking 3 different times for different shit. Hell, I heard somebody fucking, you know, owed Matt money, and I was like, dude, I'll fucking rectify that shit. But yeah, I don't want anybody to be doing work for the channel and not at least get offered a little bit of cheddar. This got to be the dumbest thing I've seen yet. What the fuck are those? Are these gems? What do you mean gems? Gems? Oh, the gems are gifts you can give the channel. Let me pull up the thing and I'll see them. And I'll actually see the gifts you give if you choose to give me any of your gems. They are worth a penny a piece. So if you give like 100 gems, that's worth $1. Penny a piece. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the 2 gifts. Unk alert. I ain't no unk. Fuck you, Perseus. I ain't no unk. Piece of shit. I still love it though. Thank you for the... That would be... Does it say how many gems that's worth? 440? Oh, thank you for the... That's like $8 so far. Thank you. 6, 7. 6, 7. 6, 7. 6, 7. 6, 7. 6, 7. 6, 7 in the chat. Oh, yeah. Send you something crazy? I'm sure you did. Tulsi Gabbard's brother arrested for trying to lure 9-year-old boy in Waikiki hotel room. I'm a traveling man. I made a lot of stops all over the world, and in every port I own the butt of at least one 9-year-old boy. Jesus Christ. Okay, if you think that's weird, by the way, there's a that song references Waikiki specifically. Phoebe, no, not like this. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, this is depraved. The older brother of former Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard was arrested and charged after he allegedly tried to lure several children to his Waikiki hotel room on Sunday. Oh, Lord. Epstein class shit. I'm telling you. This is Epstein class shit. The suspect, 55-year-old Batarti Gabbard, was charged on Friday, July 17, 2026, in connection to the stranger danger incident that occurred at a hotel in Waikiki Sunday afternoon, July 12th. The Honolulu Police Department said that on 2 p.m. on Sunday, the suspect approached several children, including a 9-year-old boy, at a pool area of Waikiki Hotel. He allegedly offered them gum and money to get them to join him in his hotel room. So he's literally like the fucking creepy pedo from The Stereotype. So he's literally going around like, "Hi, kids. I've got some candy and gum in my hotel room." Like, bruh. Oh, that's fucking gross. Oh, Lord. Okay, The suspect reportedly asked the children for their names and wrote them in a notebook. That's fucking creepy. The children refused and he walked away afterwards. 42-year-old woman reported the incident to police. Thank goodness. Gabbard remains in custody for second-degree custodial interference. Charges were filed against him after the prosecutor's office reviewed this case. Oh, shit. Okay, so that's the fucking thing. See, if it had just been reported and, like, you know, arrested and shit, but no, he's, like... He's charged. Oh, shit. Gabbard appeared in court on Friday morning where he pleaded not guilty to the theft. The theft? What? What theft? The theft? Doesn't say nothing about a damn theft. Huh? Anyway, he was released and is scheduled to appear in court again for the theft offense on August 14th. Regarding the custodial interference offense, there's no court date set at this time. So Senator Mike Gabbard and Carol Gabbard released this statement. Our oldest son, Bhakti, has had mental issues in the past but has been doing well for the last 10 years. Several days ago, he started acting erratically as a result of smoking pot. His wife kicked him out of the house, so he's been sleeping on the streets. He gave away his car to a homeless person, lost his ID and phone and has no money. He's renamed himself Batarti, and also Jim Morrison Jr. He's having delusions of being a rock star. This afternoon, a family member took him to Queens Hospital ER to have a psychological evaluation. Bhakti told the doctor they would find cocaine, ice, and pot in his blood tests. and this evening he was admitted for a 72-hour hold at Queens while they continue to monitor him and decide next steps. Okay, I don't believe this shit. I don't buy any of this fucking shit. I don't, like, maybe her older brother is crazy. Like, I guess. Fuck, let me look into it. Bhakti Gabbard. Let's see. Let's see. This whole fucking family is insane. This whole fucking family is insane. Holy shit. How has Tulsi Gabbard remained politically relevant as long as she has? Look at this fucking background. Bharati Bhakti Gabbard is the older brother of former U.S. Congresswoman and Director of the National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Raised in a devout Hindu household as part of the Science of Identity Foundation sect, he has recently been involved in a high-profile local news incident. He's the eldest of 5 children born to Hawaii State Senator Mike Gabbard and Carol Porter Gabbard. Like his siblings, he was given a Hindu name reflecting his parents' longtime devotion to sect leader Chris Butler. I don't know who the fuck that is, but anytime somebody's devoted to a living or even like a recent cult leader or sect leader, it's always a bad sign. Bhakti grew up primarily in America, Samoa, and Hawaii, where the family was immersed in the doctrines of their spiritual guru. So yeah, this whole fucking family is just insane. Bunch of fucking weird religious nuts. He was the Pied Piper pedo? Yeah, literally, I got a whole freezer full of popsicles. Literally. He just wanted to tell them about Christianity. You think so? Anyway, that'll be all for the music for tonight, I think. We'll do more tomorrow night, I'm sure. I also got to show you guys my piano skills here soon. Have I ever told you about the Mormons I met when I was younger? No. No, you haven't. Sure have not. Sometimes in our lives we meet Mormons and they are weird. When I'm less sober, I'll tell you the tale. I'll tell you my Mormon story. Mormon story. When I am high or when I am drunk, I'll tell you all about it. The Mormon story that I've got in my head. It's gonna be so funny, that story. Sorry. When my brother was like 12, he saw a commercial on TV that was offering a free copy of the Book of Mormon. Those people called her home for like 10 years after. It always comes up at Thanksgiving. Oh, shit. That time your brother got you guys this close to joining the fucking Church of Mormon. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Sorry. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What a fucking mouthful, dude. Call yourself the Mormons. It'll be easier. Thank you for the happy poop. Happy poop poop, happy poop poop, happy poop poop, yeah, happy poop. Happy poop poop, happy poop poop. Yeah, so I'm not going to stay on here too much longer, but yeah, once again, we do have an appearance of one Paul Zigo to be happening later this week. I will hopefully be doing some hype streams for that in the coming days, so make sure you mark your calendars whenever I get it ready. Yeah, for now we're just basically playing out the clock until we get to 2 hours, so any interesting questions? One of my coworkers was caught with the cocaine on him. Amateur move on his part. Oh my god, dude. I caught one of my coworkers at Taco Bell with not cocaine on them, but basically I went in the bathroom after they'd been in there for like fucking an hour and a half. Not even kidding. I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating. They were in there for like an hour and a half. They were in there for like an hour and a half, and I went in there like pretty much immediately because I just kind of, like, after the first hour I started just kind of like camping the side of the store that the bathrooms were on as much as I could. My intention being to get in there and intercept any fucking paraphernalia or weird smells that he might have left in there before any customers got to it, and so I didn't get any complaints. But what I found was a Coke straw. A little straw from one of the, like a drink cup straw type thing that had been, like a straw, like one of the straws you'd get with your drink, that had been cut to the appropriate length to use as a Coke straw, and it was dusted with white dust on the inside, so had to be what it was. I got a picture of that bitch, because that person and I had many problems, and I'm never a snitch to the cops. But if you're a coworker and you're gonna like constantly be a douchebag to me, you better not let me fucking catch you doing some dirt. Like, whatever, like, you got a Coke problem, but I can't, just like snap a picture that's evidence. What good is my word gonna do against yours? But woe betide the man or woman who makes an enemy of me if they choose to leave any evidence of that shit around when I'm around and we're working together. And to me, that's a pretty fair fucking principle, Oh well, my dad is yelling at me again. He found out I drank all the vodka and replaced it with water. Are you 12, Perseus? Like, I know you're not, but come on now. That trick, seriously, that never works. It's not a real trick. And frankly, I don't see how anyone older than 12 can even think that's gonna work. Dude, vodka and water taste nothing alike. A mixed drink doesn't cover up the taste of vodka. See ya? Well, bye. It wasn't my idea? Oh. Gotcha. Somebody's gonna get mad at me for that take. I just know it. I just know it. Hey, Charles. Oh boy, Matt sent me another thing. I guess this will be the last news story we cover before we go. Matt sent me Another DM about some fucking shit. I knew it was fucking Taylor. That's funny. FDA says sample of iceberg lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms tested positive for U.S. parasite outbreak. Motherfucking Taylor. We knew it was you all along. Fuck yeah. We knew it. It's not snitching, it's self-respect. Every employee is asked to follow the job description upon hire. Well, I'm glad you see it that way, because I fucking feel like there's some people who are going to give me shit about that take, but that's kind of how... Here's the thing. I feel like there's plenty of jobs you can kind of be high at, depending on what you're high on. But if you're gonna, you have a fucking utmost responsibility to your coworkers to be good at your job, despite that, or because of that, or whatever. To be as good at your fucking job as you would be sober or better, and just as importantly, to not make the social environment worse because of your fucking habit. Which is, like, one of the fucking reasons why I got that picture, was because that's what this particular coworker of mine was doing. Like, they were literally, like, going on these, like, insane half morning long coke binges before the lunch rush, and then they would just be like a complete douchebag throughout the lunch rush, and like it, like, I don't know, it got to the point where they were like very obviously trying to get on my nerves purposefully, and so I just was like, all right, because I'd already fucking smelled this motherfucker smoking in the bathrooms, so I was like, alright, I guess if this is how I'm gonna have to fucking approach things to make you understand, like, the nature of what you're doing here, and to, like, take this shit seriously. And the main reason that he didn't was because he was fucking related to the manager. Literally, it was fucking nepotism and a conflict of interest that would not have been allowed at most businesses. I don't even know how it was allowed there, but whatever. What are your thoughts about Elmer Fudd always trying to kill Bugs Bunny? No thoughts. It's a cartoon, bro. Highlight obligation to coworkers. Exactly. Like, you have an obligation to your coworkers whenever you're working a job. Like, that's something I feel a lot of people don't understand about the labor left, is that it's not that we want to get out of work or that we want to fucking reduce the value of it or anything. It's we want to increase the value of it. And a lot of us care passionately about the things we do. I care now about this. The reason I stayed on it for 2 fucking years at Taco Bell, at a job where most people last like 3 months, was because I got to where I kind of liked it. On a certain level, I hated the pay. And I hated the complete lack of any solidarity or even the mind towards that. But man, I kind of liked the customer service aspect. I kind of liked having a whole lobby that it was my responsibility to keep clean. I kind of liked how well it reflected on me when people would come in and talk about how nice it was in there and how good it smelled. And how unlike the rest of the restaurants in that town that it was. I took pride in that, and I imagine that there's lots of people working menial jobs like that take pride in their work. You're too cool for jokes, Phoebe. I'm sorry, I just don't... I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I don't have anything to add to it, I'm sorry. Phoebe, there's more pedo news, what's going on? Man... What is this, the Epstein cast? Dude. The Epcast. Oh shit, Shabisky's live. Shit, y'all, Shabisky's live. I'm gonna say hi, because I'm a good person. What even are you? You need to find God and Jesus Christ and put yourself together. There's only two genders. Rant some more. Please. Rant some more. And while you're at it, go check out Shabisky. Anyway, that's cool. Phoebe's gonna flush it all away. Here soon, yeah. Here soon. Sorry, what? Also, a fact that you're gorn. I don't think you understand what a fact is. Yeah, literally. Motherfuckers talking about fact, but they're the ones going on and on about or whether or not they play with their pecker. Like, do you really think even if there is a God that it would concern itself about such mundane, day-to-day goings-on as that? If the God of the Bible was real, he would be like the most autistic deity imaginable. Got this whole universe to work with. Entire universe to work with. Entire fucking planet to work with. Even if he didn't want all the other planets. Entire fucking biology and fucking all kinds of species to work with. One species on one planet. It would be his special interest. You're basically arguing that there is like anyone that's arguing for Christianity hardcore, like a genuine, like we have to take the Bible as literally true kind of model of reality, is arguing for the existence of a highly autistic creator God that has a special interest in one particular species of primate on one particular planet in one particular corner of one particular galaxy in a part of the universe that is otherwise unnotable. Poor God having to deal with all these genders must be exhausting. I know, right? Girl, you ain't kidding. You gotta chill out with the smugness. It is terribly off-putting. You're used to dealing with southern tards. I mean, yeah, but, you know. Well, here, maybe this will sound less smug. To be fair to the southern tards, there are plenty of tards from other places. Let's be honest. I myself consider myself just as much a Midwestern tard as I am a southern one. See, I don't know. I don't try to be smug necessarily, but, you know. I definitely do sometimes, so I feel like I can't really say, nah, you're wrong. Anyway, I apologize, I guess. You know, I didn't mean to come off that way. Certainly not at any point in the last 10 minutes was I trying to be smug. Not purposefully. Was it just because I said the thing about I don't have any thoughts? It's because I don't know. What do I think about fucking here? You know what I think about Elmer Fudd hunting Bugs Bunny? That it's a love-hate romance and they need to just kiss and make up. And I think Elmer Fudd should get a pride flag and sell his gun to a gun buyback program. There you go. There's my thoughts. People using smart words in Paul's chat does not try to be smug, right? Pretentious? Maybe. Smug? I don't know. Maybe I just don't know what smug means. I've always hated the phrase, I'll tell you that. I very rarely use smugness or the word smug to describe somebody. But I guess sometimes it is apt. Smug, someone who's excessively self-satisfied, arrogant, or full of themselves. Okay, wait. Y'all, I got a confession to make, okay? I might be a little smug. I don't even think I mean to be, but I just, you know, like, it's a character flaw. I call it what it is, you know? I gotta work on it, maybe. But then again, it's probably a part of my quirky personality. Do I need to work on it or just embrace it? Because I don't know, like, the thing that makes me wonder, right, is because plenty of people obviously find it pretty charming. Even if some people find it off-putting. Some people clearly find it, like, you know, relentlessly charming. Because I just see the same people pop up in chat time and time again. And then other people I do think are off-put by it at times. Because I'll see them come and go. So I don't know, I guess maybe it is something I need to work on a little bit. But on the other hand... Fuck, this is exactly what a smug prick would say, isn't it? This is exactly the reaction a really smug bitch would have to this call out, isn't it? Oh shit. Embrace it, it's cute. I mean, that's kind of my argument. Isn't it kind of cute and kind of, like, quaint? Like, when somebody that's like, I'm self-deprecating, right, enough to realize that I'm a fat idiot from the South. You know, with a bad fucking haircut and shit. Like, what do I have to say about anything? So it's kind of cute and funny when somebody like me has, like, an uncommensurate level of self-confidence and self-assuredness. Let me see here. Pretentious means attempting to impress others by acting as though you are more important, talented, cultured, or intelligent than you actually are. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say that... I think pretentiousness exists on a scale, because I think everybody does this to some extent. Everybody wants to prove themselves to their peers. But I would say that on the scale of 0 being, you know, as near to unpretentious as possible, so... Bernie Sanders, maybe? He seems like a pretty unpretentious guy. On a scale of 0 being like Bernie Sanders and 10 being like, I don't know, Donald Trump maybe? I would say that I'm at like 6? About a 6? Yeah, that's what I would say too. I would say I'm about a 6. I'm way too self-deprecating to get like an 8 or a 10 on that. But the very fact that I want to give myself a low score means that I should give myself a score higher than 5. One of these days, one of these days, somebody should super chat to have me do a personality test. We can do it right now? No, I gotta get off here in a minute. I find a short one, want to do it? Nah, I gotta get off here. Here in like just a second, basically. But it's been fun. I'll tell you guys that much. It's always fun doing these. And tonight's been no different, of course. But yeah, I will find the proper MBTI on the website tomorrow. Because there's one that's used by a ton of different places, a ton of different agencies, and all kinds of different organizations and shit. And it's like an MBTI test with a like companion thing. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for chilling. Remember to donate, like, comment, subscribe. You know all the different ways to interact with the channel. And if you can't do any of those things, then I understand. And I just hope that you all have a wonderful day full of many wonders. Hence wonderful. Goodbye.